Hey guys, and welcome back to another album review. So we're gonna do Hilary Duff's new, well, I say new, it came out in February, and it's not like it's even new to me. I listened to it the night it hit Spotify, like the moment it dropped. I was already on top of it. But procrastination! I am just now in, August, getting around to it. At the time when it came out, didn't even know there was going to be a tour, didn't know I'd be seeing her on the tour. This shirt is from the tour. But anyway, it was like, had no idea. This was not on my 2026 bingo card for Hilary Duff Resurgence, but hey, I am here for it. Like, honestly, it's one of those things where it had been so many years, I think I had kind of forgotten just how much I love Hilary Duff. I mean, Hilary was like Kimmy's idol, and I think kind of still is, and she somehow lucked out on like the genetic lotto and just happens to look exactly like her freaking idol. I don't know how she won that, but good for her. It must be nice. Cannot relate. But anyway, it's one of those things where, sure, she was the one that was known for loving her the whole time, but on the down low, even before she knew who she was, I was already watching Lizzie McGuire as a 16-year-old kid, but I digress. Anyway, so the album came out, it's called Luck or Something, came out February 20th, and they're actually, if you bought like, I think it was like a deluxe or super deluxe version of the album when it came out, there's also a CD version of a sub-album. It's like additional, it's just called Mine. I'll review that separate. I do have it, and I do physically have that, but I had to hit up eBay for it. But I did get a copy of it, whereas this one I don't have a physical copy yet. Anyway, I'll fix that one of these days. But for now, I'm fine listening to it on Spotify. But Mine is basically her pulling a Taylor's version, but with her own music. But this, everything on Luck or Something, are all new songs, completely new content that she wrote, and, like, I think her husband also performs on a lot of the tracks. I don't think singing, just playing music. But yeah, Matthew Coma was very involved in this as well, which is really cool to see. And honestly, this whole album, like, on one hand, I don't think I realized just how close in age Hilary Duff and I are. I didn't realize she's only like a couple of years younger than me. I'm like, oh, shit, I thought she was way younger. I think because of how into her Kimmy was, I for some reason mentally filed her away as being closer to her age than mine, but it's like, no, there's definitely like a 10-year age gap for them, and there's like maybe like a 3 or 4 for me and her, so I was like, wow. Anyways, I digress. But because of that, she's writing from a position of being an elder millennial, as am I, and just kind of like what life feels like at this particular stage in this moment in a way that also feels relatable to kind of just the whole generation. It is a vibe. I am here for it. I think it's why I'm so into it, because I'm like, holy shit, she really did write a love letter just, like, for the millennials, and this whole tour as well was just, like, all the millennials came out of retirement for this, and it was so cool. But anyway, so first track is Weather for Tennis, and, like, the whole lyrics of this, it's kind of like the argumentativeness in, like, a relationship, and the back and forth with it, as if it were a tennis match, and having to be the peacemaker all the time, especially because she's a kid of divorce, and he is the starter of wars. But I mean, the first verse, the lyrics of it, I'll read them off for you, and I'll struggle not singing them, but I'm a seasoned apologist for the people who I love. I'm an amateur psychologist, key to everyone's handcuffs. I'm like, holy shit, it's me! I feel very called out right now. Oh my god. And honestly, kind of like the lyrics of the whole thing, I'm like, oh, I relate to this more than I feel like I should, but also, I don't think it's just a personally me thing. I think it's, well, not just generationally, but kind of just in general, everyone's been there more or less, but I think the millennials, we especially kind of got that raw deal in kind of being the parentified children of our parents, and therefore we grew up being like the people pleasers. We're the ones that always had to be the fixers for everybody, even if we were struggling. It's like, yeah, push your own shit down, make sure everyone else is okay first. And unfortunately that's kind of followed us into adulthood, into relationships of whatever kind, and we still have that mindset, and it's hard to like fight back against it and like stop just taking it. And that's kind of in the lyrics as well. if you look at him for this. Now, musically, this song, when I first heard it, first listen, because I hadn't really digested the lyrics yet, I was like, it's kind of like grown-up elevator music, but for millennials, which isn't a bad thing, and it's not a diss. It's actually just, like, very cozy, like an old sweater that you know and love. It's kind of that kind of a vibe to it, even though it was first time hearing it, it felt like that. But now that I've had months to digest the lyrics and, like, fully take it in and everything, I am not writing it off just on, like, the kind of pop motif of it feeling like grown-up elevator music for millennials. Actually, it's surprisingly deep, and the fact that this is what the album opens with, I'm like, alright, I am seated, you have my attention, Hilary. Okay, so the second track on the album is called Roommates, and this one, it was the second single that was dropped from the album, and it had a music video to go with it, which I have to admit, given the lyrics of this particular song, given how much Hilary looks like my sister, I was like, oh my god, tap out, abort mission. But if I just listen to it and I don't watch the video, I'm fine. But I was like, I can't with the visual. Like, nope, tap out. But basically, lyrically, this one is kind of about, like, I mean, I would presume it's probably really relatable for most adults. You know, I say most, not all, but, because there's gotta be somebody in the same boat as me. But, you're in a relationship for a long time, and there's always, like, that period at the beginning of it where, like, it's all new and shiny, and I presume you're at it like rabbits. I think that's how it works. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, cannot relate. But, and then slowly over time it evolves and gets to where you're more like roommates than a couple, and there's just never the time, you're not in the mood, life is getting in the way, this, that, the other, and one side is longing, the other side is dismissive, and just, it's a conflict of interest, and eventually that oftentimes ends up being the thing that just gives way. The whole song is about that. And I feel like it's probably one of those very nostalgia, yearning kind of things, if you can relate to it. For the very small minority of us who can't, I'm like, it's more than a little awkward, but that's not her fault, it's not the lyrics' fault, that's a me issue. But, stylistically, the song is, like, pop mixed with not quite R&B, but it's got, like, a flavor of that kind of running throughout it without leaning all the way into it. I don't know how else to explain the style of this particular one, but it is a really catchy song. She has done it on the tour, which of course made it, like, awkward squared for me, because now not only is it the visual, I literally have my sister standing right next to me who looks just like her, singing along at the top of her lungs. I'm like, oh shit, like, skip, but obviously you can't skip it live in concert, but, I don't skip it on the album either, I just, again, with the visual, but it is a really catchy song, but it's a hard one to sing along to because the pacing is, like, at least for the chorus of it, it's almost like they're trying to fit too many syllables into not enough room, so it always feels like I don't have the timing right. Even if I do, it feels wrong in your mouth, like, trying to, like, hit the pacing of it. It's like, wait, that's not right, is it? And that, no, I guess it is, but it doesn't feel like it is, but I guess it is. Which I guess kind of also applies to other things. I don't know, but I do like the song, though, believe it or not. I'm not crapping on it, just, you know, it is what it is. So the third track on the album is We Don't Talk, and if you know the back history here, even if you don't, I'm gonna tell you about it. It's about how she and her sister Haley don't talk anymore. They're estranged from one another, and I mean, I won't go into, like, the whole backstory that. You can Google that on your own time. It's all out there. It's nothing secret, but it hits right in the feels, because not only is there the knowing that this is coming from a place that is very much both real and raw and palpable, and you can just feel it, My sister pointed out that we kind of have a sister we don't talk to anymore either, huh? And I was like, shit, we kind of do. I feel really bad about that because it's not like anything happened, but it's kind of just like how life has gone lately to where, yeah, we really don't. It's not anyone's fault, but it does make the lyrics sting that much more with that added into it. I'm just like, shit. But this, I mean, I feel like you could apply this to so many different situations that might apply to your life of just different people like drifting apart where we don't really know what happened. We just don't talk anymore, and I don't know how to answer people when they ask about that person. It's so relatable that I'm like, damn. I mean, hell, even just with the vlog I made last night, it fits for that situation too. And I'm like, crap, this is way too relatable, but also makes me love it that much more. Stylistically, this one is kind of like, it's got a vibe of like 2010s era pop, in my opinion. Not quite millennial whoop level, but the rest of the vibe of like music around that time, it's kind of that. If you listen to this, you'll know exactly what the hell I'm talking about without the I don't know how to convey it articulately anyway. Okay, so the fourth track in is Future Tripping, which could be my damn theme song. It is like the anxiety anthem, but not just anxiety, but specifically anxiety about things that haven't even happened yet, things that probably literally will not happen, but in your head, in the moment, they feel so real, even with just like the tiniest provocation that sets the wheels in motion. The whole song is about that. I was like, oh my god. And I mean, again, felt called out, but on the other hand, when I saw her do it live and saw how many people also were like very specifically into every word of that song, I was like, okay, this is not just a me issue. This is all of us. Got it. Got it. I definitely feel less alone. This is like why everybody has said this tour has been such a healing moment for the millennials. Like, we're not joking when we say that. It's just, we feel so seen and so heard and so understood with this. But this is the other one that, much like the first track, when I very, very first listened to the album, I was like, millennial elevator music. But, again, not in a bad way. It's just the vibe of the song musically is what gives it that. But then when you listen to the lyrics and you realize that, oh, this actually goes a lot deeper than it appears on surface level, because surface level is just, it sounds like fluff, which, I mean, isn't bad, again, time and a place for everything, but it's almost like that juxtaposition of the message of the song versus the way it comes off. I compare it to like the Beatles' Maxwell's Silver Hammer. Like, you have this perky, peppy little song that sounds so happy, and then you look at the lyrics and it's about like a freaking serial killer. It's like, Jesus! It's kind of one of those, not as bad as that. It's not as bad as that, but it's the same kind of thing I can compare it to, really. Okay, so the next track in is Growing Up, and on first listen, I actually didn't initially click with this one, but again, once I really looked at the lyrics and took it in, I was like, this quickly shot up to being one of my favorites on the whole album after I really took note of the lyrics on this one. Now I really love it, and I'm really glad she did this one live too. But this one, it's basically about how, like, I mean, this applies to my life right now, how kind of you go through periods of life where it does seem like most of your friends grow up and move on with their lives, and you kind of get left in the dust. And if you're lucky, maybe you have somebody that's still left that is by your side through it all to talk to about everything, and, you know, as you do. As you do. But you could also interpret the lyrics another way, to where it insinuates that everybody moves on and you are on your own and this is growing up. So it's like, you could look at it depending on perspective of where you are in your life at any given moment. It applies. It just applies. And I think that's pretty cool, that it can be interpreted multiple ways and still work like that. So we're already 6 tracks in, so wow, we're like past the halfway point because there's only 11 tracks on this. And this one is The Optimist, which is arguably not only probably the like most emotionally raw but powerful song on the album, but possibly ever in her career. She gets really real about just the estrangement with her dad and all of the daddy issues that go along with that. And yet still living in hope that maybe one day that'll change, even though so far no sign of it. But just everything about this track will rip your heart out, throw it on the ground and stomp on it. It just, oh my god, like, it brings tears to my eyes every time, but at the same time, it's so masterfully written that just, you're right there alongside her, feeling it with her. Even if you haven't lived it firsthand, just, it puts you in her shoes for a few moments. But It's a Rough One is hauntingly beautiful. So the next track in is You from the Honeymoon, which I feel like could either be part 1 or part 2 along with Roommates. They could go in either order, but they both feel like they are definitely spiritually interlocked, more or less probably about the same situation. Just like how Roommates was about things fizzling out and eventually feeling more like roommates than like a couple. This one, I mean, it takes it a step further, because, I mean, the honeymoon implies they're married, so I don't know if this about current husband, last husband, is it imaginary? Who knows? But I would imagine, for how just raw the rest of the album's been, it probably is drawing from real life here. But basically, it harkens back to, like, her comparing, like, when they first got married and how emotionally gentle he was at that point before, like, he got all involved in sleeping pills and benzos and shit. Just, there's a whole lot of things throughout where, again, it's that sense of longing for the past version of that person that is no longer the version that they're currently with, and even though they still love them and they know it's not fair to compare, it's impossible not to do it, and she does miss that version of the person. I also find it kind of expertly done with even like I'm not sure what instrument it is in the intro. I think it's a flute, maybe through like a keyboard, but I think it's a flute, but like they made it just slightly, ever so slightly out of tune, so that it feels discordant and where it's like, it's pleasant enough, but at the same time there's a sense that something's off about it, which, given the lyrics of the song, I'm like, that is so smart and so well played, I thought, in my opinion, because it totally fits for it. Okay, we're getting closer to the end of the album, but the next track in is Holiday Party, which no is not a holiday song, do not get it twisted. But this track is based on a real thing that happened, but not in the way you're assuming via the lyrics. Because the lyrics are very much about, like, insecurity, jealousy, being convinced that your dude is fucking around on you even if there is literally nothing in reality to base this on, just your insecurities and anxieties. So this was based off of nightmares that Hilary was having postpartum after one of her babies, that she was convinced that her husband was cheating on her at a holiday party. Recurring nightmares of specifically that. Postpartum hormones are freaking no joke, so, like, it's like, well, I get it, but even if postpartum's not part of the picture, I think it's still very, very relatable. And the way that just, like, the music part of the song goes with it, too, I'm just like, I feel weird admitting that this was, like, one of the first songs I gravitated to day one is a favorite from it, which is really bad to admit, but, you know, on brand. But it really is, like, a catchy song. It is kind of a banger, too, but in general, just very, very relatable, especially as a chick, but I'm sure there's probably dudes who've been in the same boat too, the other way around as well, that have felt the same type of insecurities as well, so, you know, as you do. But again, very raw, very relatable, and I respect the shit out of her for being this transparent with us through her songs. Okay, third to last track is Mature, which is the first single and first music video that dropped for this album as a teaser, and boy did it get people lit up speculating who is this about. There's certain lyrics in it that make people think it might be about Leonardo DiCaprio. My theory is, I mean, that's possible. I think it could also just as easily be about Joel Madden if you look at the ages of when they dated, but I digress. It's basically a story about judging dudes who've been in age gap dating situations where the guy was considerably older and kind of robbing the cradle, and now we're throwing some side-eye at him that he's still doing that even though we grew up, we wised up, we don't play that game no more, but clearly you're still back there and you're still dating basically children. Ugh. And how she doesn't blame the girl at all because she's a sweet kid and she took the bait like we all did. Actual lyrics from the song. I mean, it's about like the most realistic but also, what is the word I'm looking for? Both introspective as well as just empathetic way of looking at these kind of situations, especially if it is somebody who is very much still doing that, and that is where Leo could come into it. And there is a name drop of Leo, but is it about Leonardo DiCaprio, or are we talking about Leo as in the astrological sign? I think it was both, probably. I think it was intentionally vague to where it's interchangeable. It can be who you want it to be about, I think, but it is scathing, but it is also such like a poppy banger that you can't help but love it. Okay, so we're up to the second to last track on the album, so this one is Tell Me That Won't Happen. This one for me is kind of out of all the tracks on here, if I'm gonna skip one, it's often this one. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. Not because it's bad or anything, it just, I don't know, we already have 2 other tracks on the album about being deeply insecure in a relationship. I'm like, I didn't know this was gonna be the triathlon of insecurity, but here we are. And of the 3, I'm like, it's the weakest of the 3, I think. But this one, it's a little different because this one isn't so much insecure in the way of like cheating or in the way of has it fizzled out. This one's more of insecure in the way of worrying, are we past our peak? Have we already felt all of the best parts of this? Is that part already over? Now it's all downhill from here. That's kind of the vibe of this one, which again is very honest and very transparent, which I do commend her for. But on the other hand, out of 11 tracks, 3 of them are more or less kind of all leaning into the same things. I'm like, kind of genuinely starting to wonder, are she and Matthew okay? But like, I think they are. I mean, he's been with her every night of the tour and everything. It's like acting as the cameraman for when she's on stage and like needs pictures from the stage. Like, he's right there. But I don't know. Like, just there's so many things in this album where I'm like, I really hope they're okay. And finally, the last track is Adult Size Medium, which, incidentally, shirts that I bought at the show are an adult size medium, in fact. Which just worked out because that is the size I wear. Okay, anyway, the aside here. The lyrics of this one are kind of about just, like, coming to terms with getting older, even though you don't feel like it. Like, in your head, you still feel like you should be younger, and there's that cognitive dissonance there with that. And the lyrics kind of explore that a bit, which, again, resonates a lot, not just with me, but I think kind of just everyone in this general age group. Probably even beyond that, too, but, like, us especially, because, I mean, we've been, like, mentally perpetually teenagers for so long that, like, all of a sudden you wake up one day and you're, like, 40 and you're going, when the fuck did that happen? I don't feel any older. What? And this kind of does go there, and even mentions things like, I remember everything and nothing at all. Like, yes, that. And so many things that just like little flashes and glimpses of life at a younger, simpler time versus now. And it's another one that's kind of got that 2010s-ish sound to it, in my opinion. Not in a bad way, again. Just, I don't know how else to articulate that. But, I don't know. I thought it was good. Like, overall, the album, I think I would give like a 7.5 out of 10, which is higher than I figured going in that I was gonna give it, especially for something that is the first album back after so many years away from recording and things. I have to admit, I didn't exactly have the highest expectations going into it, but I was so delightfully surprised by this album. And I have had it on repeat so much that it's probably gonna be like, when Spotify Wrapped comes out, I would be very surprised if anyone other than Hilary takes the top artist spot this year. Unless it's like the usual Beatles. But like, other than that, like, I'm pretty sure she's got this in the bag. Miley's new album doesn't come out till November, and I think Spotify Wrapped stops counting before November, if I'm not mistaken, so I think she's got this one, which, again, was not on my Bingo 2026 card, but here we are. So, I don't know, if you're a millennial who may have at any point had a soft spot for Hilary or Lizzie McGuire or any of the films that she did, I think it's worth checking out, if nothing else. Maybe you vibe with it, maybe you don't. But it's kind of an interesting listen. It's kind of an interesting psychological look at where she is, where a lot of people are in this age group. It just, I feel like this one really hit home, and it's why it's resonating with so many people right now. So, well done.